The full moon is back, which means it's time for ritual. And in order to move forward, you need to learn how to create a protection circle around you. And while we're at it, let's banish some energies as well. There's a few reasons why you might want to do a protection circle banishing ritual. First, to train your magical mind and enter a magical mindset a little bit faster. Second, to prevent supernatural interference and banish unwanted energies and neutralize your space. Third, to establish a point in space and time where you imprint your spell into our reality. And finally, to create a container which holds all of the energy so you can manipulate and shape it until you're ready to release it at once. Just like how a musician releases a full song rather than releasing bits and pieces at different times. As a chaos wizard who views the world through chaos magic, it's important for me to do what resonates. It's also important for you to do what resonates as well. It's just important to remember why we do a protection circle banishing ritual in the first place, and then finding your own way of executing that. Liber Null by Peter J. Carroll gives a sort of recipe outline that you can use. He says a good banishing ritual incorporates 1. Visualizing a 3D barrier around you that protects you. 2. A focused visualization. 3. Drawing protective symbols around that visualized barrier. And 4. Entering a state known as no mind. No mind. There are already rituals out there that show you how to do a banishing protection circle as well. This one is the Lesser Banishing Ritual of the Pentagram, also known as the LBRP. It's a fundamental ritual done in Western esotericism, and it was developed by the Order of the Golden Dawn. But this one tends to incorporate the names of God, and it leans very Abrahamic, so that might not be your thing. If you're not into that, you could look into something like calling the quarters over here. Over here. A ritual done by witches and pagans that invoke the 4 elements and 4 cardinal directions known as the watchtowers in order to aid and protect their craft. From these examples, we see a pattern of calling upon spirits, using the elements, and also using visualization to aid us. So my own kind of chaotic way, I'm going to be Frankensteining the LBRP, calling of the quarters, and using the elemental energies in order to create this protection banishing ritual. And then I'm going to apply the outline given by Peter J. Carroll in Liber Null. We've already talked about the importance of spiritual cleansing before a ritual, so I won't dwell on that house. And this isn't exactly beginner-friendly either, as it involves knowledge of the classical elements, invoking spirits, visualization, energy manipulation, a lot of fundamental things that you gotta figure out. But I will also say that this is one hell of a way to practice those things. So grab your grimoire and write down the following. The 4 elements, fire, earth, air, and water. And get ready to write down their directions and their correspondences. Let me move this over. Air is the eastern direction associated with the mental, communication, and thinking. It's associated with the sense of smell and the color yellow. Fire is the southern direction, and it's associated with your willpower, drive, and passion. It also has an association with the sense of sight and also the color red. Water is in the west, and it's associated with your emotions, your feelings, and taste. It also has the color blue. Earth is in the north, and it's associated with the physical material in your body. It also has the sense of touch and is associated with the color green. Now, next to all of those descriptions, write down a personal symbol of protection, something that resonates with you. I'm going to be using the 5-star pentagram as its connection with all 4 of the classical elements and also the 5th element of spirit or ether. Even though they told me it was associated with the devil, which it's not, it's a symbol of protection. And also, as done in the LBRP, I invoke the 4 archangels. They represent the spirit or the fundamental force of the elemental rulers, right? Raphael in the east with air, Michael in the south with fire, Gabriel in the west with water, and Uriel in the north with earth. And also, I don't like to envision them as people. Instead, I like to envision that their faces are blinded by whatever their color association is, and they are wearing the robes of their association, holding the correct tool that's associated with them. And again, as a chaos practitioner, it's important for you to figure out what works for you. If archangels are too Abrahamic, then that's chill as well. You can work with the mythological creatures. You could work with the elemental energies themselves, or maybe even a pagan deity that you like. It's important to figure out your process through trial and error, so you can follow these rituals by a T, by the book, or do whatever resonates for you. And again, my practice, which you're about to see, is a mix of Western esotericism and witchcraft. And also the elemental rulers or their directions or associations or colors or anything is again up to you. Correspondences are built from your society and culture, your family and friends, and your personal experiences. So for example, For you, the north might represent fire because you live south of the equator. So obviously it gets hotter in the north. Tweak it however you like. Next, you'll need a banishing tool. This can be a wand, a knife, an athame, a jewelry, or even just pointed fingers. As Liber Null says, it's important to find an object which represents the magician's ambitions and also a sense of authority when we're trying to create these banishing rituals. Technically, I believe you could do this full ritual without any tools as a chaos practitioner in a prison cell. So again, use an object or maybe even your fingers, and that's going to act as the drawing tool for the banishing ritual and protection circle. Now grab 4 objects which represent the 4 elements. For air, I have an incense. For water, I have a cup. For earth, I have a crystal. And for fire, I obviously have my candle here. For earth, you could also use something like a pentacle or a disc, something that represents the material. Again, grab what you have. I'm under the firm impression that magic doesn't require tools or resources at all. In fact, you could do this whole ritual inside of your head. Damon Eccles is a magician who was wrongfully imprisoned, probably because of his association with witchcraft. He learned to do the LBRP in his head in a prison cell with no tools or resources, just visualizations and personal energy. However, objects tend to help beginners orient themselves, help with their visualization of their boundary, and orient the cardinal directions. Objects also have a subconscious understanding as well. So using objects or tools like a wand or a knife helps reinforce that authority feeling. This is how it's going to go. We're going to start in the eastern direction and work our way around to every other cardinal point. Again, this is my own modified version of LBRP, calling the quarters, so do whatever works for you. First, ground yourself. Then we're going to create a 3-dimensional barrier that surrounds us, in this case, a circle or sphere. Then we maintain a sort of visual image in our brains, such as a ball of light inside of us. I like to visualize a pillar of pure light descending from the celestial world all the way down to earth, through my body and down through my toes and out below me. And again, even incorporating like a hum or a sound might kind of help you out. Now that we have maintained an image, face the eastern direction and draw your protection symbol. Use a tool or even your hand to draw and visualize that symbol in front of you. Then you'll turn to the south and do the same, the west, and then the north, returning to the eastern direction. You can even draw those symbols above and below you too, if that makes you feel safe. Next, it's time to invoke the 4 elemental figures. I'm using the archangels, but you could just use the elemental intelligences. Verbally call their name in accordance to the direction you're already facing. And don't forget to visualize them in order to awaken their energies. In front of me, Raphael. To the right of me, Michael. Behind me, Gabriel. To my left, Uriel. Then establish the energy with a phrase, as they say in the LBRP, for about me flames the pentagram. And imagine all of your symbols catching on fire with the color of your choice. Now you've created your protection circle. You've banished unwanted energies, you've neutralized the space, you've invoked spirits, and you have used a tool of ambition to do so. Now it's time for the spell work. Any of the energy you raise is going to stay within that circle until you release it, and nothing supernatural can interfere. I've just completed my spell work and I can feel the energy that I've raised. Now that it's condensed within this space, it's time to release it. Then we'll finish by closing out the circle, and I utilize visualization and movement to do so. In order to close a circle, you need to do everything that you initially did, but in reverse. And that's a do-it-yourself chaotic way to do a banishing protection witches circle ritual. Who's there? Hey watcher, make sure to like, subscribe, and comment what you think or what you do to help me get this video out there, yeah. And to watch the extended cut of this video, make sure to be a member of the Patreon, and thank you to the existing Patreons on there. Without your support, we wouldn't be able to do this. See you in the next one.